When I tell you to relax, I am not merely suggesting a physical state of ease, though that is important. I am speaking of a profound inner knowing, a complete surrender to the truth, that what you desire is already yours, in the realm of the invisible. For everything in this world first existed in the imagination before it was brought forth into tangible expression. Most of you here tonight are making the mistake of struggling, of fighting against circumstances, of resisting what appears to be the current reality of your life. And in that very struggle, you are perpetuating the conditions you wish to change. For whatever you resist persists. Whatever you fight against, you strengthen. The secret is not in doing, but in being. Not in struggling, but in knowing. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the foundation of all successful manifestation. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and remain faithful to that assumption, the world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. Consider for a moment what you truly desire in your life. Is it wealth, love, recognition? Whatever it may be, it already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. Your task is not to create it, for creation is finished. Your task is to appropriate it through the power of your consciousness. How do you do this? Through the art of relaxation. When you truly relax, you enter a state where your conscious, intellectual mind with all its doubts and fears subsides, and you slip into the state of your subconscious mind, which is the realm of manifestation. It is in this relaxed state that the seed of your desire can be planted effectively. Many of you are trying too hard. You are using forceful power and external action to accomplish what can only be done through the law of consciousness. This is why so many of you are frustrated, for you are working against the very law that would set you free. You are like someone standing at the shore, commanding the tide to change through shouting and physical exertion, when all that is needed is patience and understanding of celestial mechanics. The Bible, which is the greatest psychological book ever written, tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness, this inner quietude, is the state of relaxation I am speaking of. It is in this state that you connect with the creative power of the universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Let me tell you a story of a dear friend who came to me in despair. She had been struggling for years to establish her business, working tirelessly, sacrificing her health and relationships, yet making little progress. I told her what I'm telling you now: relax, and you will manifest everything you want. She looked at me incredulously, as perhaps some of you are doing right now. "How can I relax?" she asked, "when bills are piling up and competitors are taking my clients?" I explained to her that her very tension, her anxiety, her struggle was creating the reality she was experiencing. For we do not manifest what we want, we manifest what we are. And she was being a person in struggle and lack and fear. I instructed her to spend 30 minutes each evening, just before sleep, in a state of complete relaxation. During this time, she was to imagine herself in her office, receiving calls from new clients, looking at her bank statement showing abundant funds, accepting congratulations from peers on her successful business. Most importantly, she was to feel the naturalness of this scene, to feel as though it were already a fact. "But this isn't true," she protested. "It's a lie, a fantasy." And here, my friends, is where most people falter. They refuse to imagine what contradicts their sensory experience. But imagination creates reality. The very act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is what causes it to objectify in your world. She agreed to try my suggestion, skeptical though she was. And what happened? Within 2 months, her business began to change. New opportunities arose seemingly out of nowhere. A large client who had previously rejected her services reached out unexpectedly. A marketing strategy she had implemented months ago suddenly gained traction. And by the end of 6 months, her business had transformed completely. Was this coincidence? Absolutely not. It was the law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and changes in consciousness are reflected in changes in circumstance. Now, some of you may be thinking, if it is as simple as relaxing and imagining, why isn't everyone successful, healthy, and fulfilled? The answer lies in persistence and faith. Most people try these principles briefly, see no immediate results, and abandon them for the old familiar patterns of struggle and effort. They do not understand the gestation period of manifestation. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every day to see if it's growing. He trusts in the law of growth, knowing that if he has planted properly and provided the right conditions, the seed must develop into its full potential. Your desires are seeds planted in consciousness, and they too require trust in the process of invisible growth before visible manifestation. Let me be very clear about what I mean by relaxation. It is not laziness. It is not inaction. It is not passivity in the face of life's challenges. True relaxation is the absence of resistance to what is, combined with a faithful assumption of what you wish to be. Consider the life of Jesus as depicted in Scripture. Did he struggle and strain to perform his miracles? No. He relaxed into the knowing that it was already done. Before raising Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. Not I hope you will hear me or please grant my request, but gratitude for what was already accomplished in the invisible." This is the perfect mental posture for manifestation, complete assurance that what you are imagining is already a fact. Now let us discuss the practical application of this principle in your daily life. Begin by identifying what you truly desire. Be specific. If it is wealth, what amount? If it is a relationship, what qualities does it possess? If it is health, how does it feel to be vibrantly well? Clarity is essential, for your subconscious mind requires clear direction. Once you have identified your desire, create a scene that would imply its fulfillment. This scene should be simple, believable to you, and easy to visualize. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you might imagine checking your bank account and seeing a specific balance or receiving congratulations from a friend on your financial success. Next, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, releasing all tension from your body with each exhale. Feel yourself becoming here, more relaxed with each breath. Allow your mind to quiet, letting thoughts come and go without attachment. When you have reached a state of deep relaxation, bring your scene to mind. Enter it as though you were stepping onto a stage. See the details around you, hear the sounds, feel the emotions, make it as vivid and real as possible. Most importantly, feel the naturalness of it, the of courseness of your desire being fulfilled. Remain in this scene for as long as it feels natural, typically 5 to 3 minutes. Then, gently open your eyes, but carry the feeling of fulfillment with you. It is crucial the feeling must persist beyond the formal meditation. Repeat this exercise nightly, preferably just before sleep when your subconscious mind is most receptive. Be faithful to it, understanding that you are working with law, not chance or luck. The law states that what you assume with feeling will objectify in your world. During your daily activities, when doubts arise or contrary evidence presents itself, as it inevitably will remind yourself that what you are seeing is the shadow of past consciousness, not the reality of your new assumption. Refuse to be impressed by appearances that contradict your desire. This does not mean denial of facts, but rather understanding that facts are fluid, that they change in response to changes in consciousness. Many of you wonder why your previous attempts at manifestation have failed. It is because you have not truly relaxed into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You have affirmed with your lips while denying with your heart. You have visualized prosperity while feeling poverty. You have spoken of health while sensing illness. This divided mind cannot manifest effectively. Remember the words of Scripture, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." This singleness of vision, this unwavering focus on your desires already fulfilled, is what enables manifestation. A double-minded person, as James tells us, is unstable in all his ways and should not expect to receive anything. Let me tell you about another student of mine, a gentleman who had been seeking a specific position in his company for years. He had all the qualifications, had taken additional courses, had networked with decision makers, yet the promotion eluded him. Others less qualified were selected time and again. When he came to me frustrated and ready to give up, I shared with him this principle of relaxation and assumption. I instructed him to cease all anxious striving, all desperate attempts to prove his worth. Instead, each night before sleep, he was to imagine his superior congratulating him on his new position. He was to feel the handshake, hear the words of praise, experience the satisfaction of achievement. For 3 weeks, he practiced this faithfully. During the day, whenever thoughts of lack or disappointment arose, he would briefly close his eyes and recall the feeling of his imaginal seat. He relaxed into the knowing that the position was already his in consciousness. In the 4th week, his superior called him into the office. A position had opened up, not the exact one he had been seeking, but one even better suited to his skills and with greater responsibility and compensation. He was offered the role without having to apply or interview. The very superior he had imagined congratulating him did exactly that in physical reality. Was this coincidence? No, my friends. It was law in operation. He had planted the seed in consciousness, watered it with faith, and allowed it to grow without interference. He had relaxed into the knowing of its fulfillment, and the outer world reshaped itself accordingly. Now, some of you may be facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Perhaps you have a medical diagnosis that terrifies you, or a financial situation that appears hopeless, or a relationship that is broken beyond repair. The principle remains the same. Relax and know that your consciousness is the only reality. Your present circumstances, no matter how dire they may appear, are only the shadow of past thinking. They have no power to persist unless you give them power through your continued attention and emotional reaction. When you shift your consciousness, when you assume a new state, the shadows must change to match the new light you are casting. The Bible tells us all things are possible to him that believeth. This is not hyperbole. It is a statement of cosmic law. But true belief is not intellectual assent. It is not saying, yes, I believe this can happen. Rather, it is the feeling of naturalness, the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. It is living from the end. This is where relaxation becomes so vital. When you are tense, anxious, striving, you are broadcasting to the universe that your desire is not yet fulfilled, that it is something to be attained in the future. But manifestation does not work in time as we understand it. It works in states of consciousness. When you relax completely into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you enter the state where it exists. And from that state, it must objectify in your world. Let me share with you a profound truth that may revolutionize your understanding. There is no such thing as a future state of consciousness. All states exist now, in this eternal moment. What you call the future is simply at not usage you have not yet entered consciously. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled now, you are not creating something new. You are selecting from the infinite array of existing states the one that corresponds to your desire. This is why it is so important to relax. Tension and anxiety keep you locked in the state of wanting, of seeking, of not having. Relaxation allows you to slip into the state of already being, having, and doing what you desire. It is a surrender not to circumstances, but to the truth of your divine nature as the operant power in your world. Many of you have been taught that hard work, struggle, and sacrifice are necessary for achievement. And certainly appropriate action has its place. But action that stems from a consciousness of lack, from a sense of having to make something happen, is rarely effective and often counterproductive. True, inspired action flows naturally from a changed state of consciousness. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take exactly the right actions at the right time without struggle or strain. Consider the difference between swimming upstream and swimming with the current. Both involve action, but one is exhausting and yields little progress, while the other is effortless and swift. When you relax into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you are swimming with the cosmic current rather than against it. Now let me address a question that often arises. What about the needs and desires of others? What if what I want conflicts with what someone else wants? This concern stems from a misunderstanding of the nature of consciousness and reality. In truth, there is only one consciousness, individualized in what appear to be separate beings. When you operate from this understanding, you realize that your true desires, emerging from your divine nature, cannot conflict with the true desires of another. If you find yourself wanting something that would harm another, deprive them of their good, you are not operating from your divine center, but from a place of fear or lack. True manifestation, emerging from the relaxed knowledge of abundance for all, harms none and blesses everyone it touches. Some of you may be wondering about the role of gratitude in this process. Gratitude is not merely a virtue to be practiced, it is a powerful creative force. When you are grateful for something, you are affirming its reality in your consciousness. This is why the practice of being grateful for your desire, as though it were already fulfilled, is so effective. Begin and end each day with gratitude for the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having what you once sought. This feeling state is magnetic, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and events necessary for the externalization of your assumption. Let me tell you about a woman who came to my lectures many years ago. She had been diagnosed with a condition that her doctor said was incurable and progressive. Medical science offered management of symptoms, but no hope of recovery. She was understandably frightened and discouraged when she first heard me speak about these principles. After the lecture, she approached me and asked if this law could work even in the face of such a diagnosis. I assured her that consciousness is the only reality, and that a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions, regardless of the apparent fixity of the physical world. I suggested that instead of fighting against her condition or fearfully monitoring her symptoms, she should relax completely into the consciousness of perfect health. Each night before sleep, she should feel the naturalness of moving freely, of having abundant energy, of engaging in activities that her condition had prevented. Furthermore, I advised her to mentally hear her doctor expressing amazement at her recovery. She practiced this faithfully, despite occasional setbacks when symptoms flared and doubt crept in. On those days, she would simply return to her practice with even greater determination, understanding that the outer conditions were merely shadows that had not yet caught up with her new consciousness. Within 6 months, her symptoms began to diminish. Within a year, her doctor was indeed expressing amazement at her improvement, ordering new tests to understand what had happened. Today, she lives a life free of both the condition and the restrictions it had imposed. Was this a miracle? Only in the sense that all manifestation is miraculous when viewed from the perspective of the physical world. From the perspective of consciousness, it was simply law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions. Now, my friends, I want to address something that prevents many from successfully applying these principles, the belief that they are unworthy of their desires. Many of you carry deep feelings of unworthiness stemming from childhood experiences, religious conditioning, or societal messages. You may intellectually understand these principles, but emotionally feel that someone like you doesn't deserve such blessings. Let me be absolutely clear, worthiness is not a prerequisite for manifestation. The law of consciousness is impersonal, like the law of gravity. It does not ask if you deserve to remain safely on the ground, it simply responds to the conditions present. Similarly, the law of consciousness does not question. If you deserve your desire, it simply responds to the state you occupy in consciousness. Your divine nature, your true self, is already perfect, already worthy of all good things. When you relax into this truth, when you release the tension of unworthiness and simply assume the state of your wish fulfilled, manifestation must follow, not because you have earned it or deserved it, but because it is law. This understanding liberates you from the endless cycle of proving yourself, of accumulating achievements to justify your desires. You are free to simply be, to assume, to know that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. Some of you are wondering about the time frame for manifestation. How long will it take for my desire to appear in my physical reality? This question, though natural, reveals a misunderstanding of the process. Time is a construct of physical experience, not of consciousness. In consciousness, all is now. The bridge of events between your current physical experience and the manifestation of your desire exists in time, but the assumption of the state is immediate and eternal. The more completely you relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, releasing all anxiety about when and how it will appear, the more rapidly the bridge of events will be crossed. Patience is not waiting for something to happen. It is knowing that it already has happened in consciousness and allowing it to unfold in your experience without interference. Let us now explore another aspect of relaxation, the release of attachment to specific outcomes. Many of you have very fixed ideas about how your desire should manifest through which channels, involving which people, following which timeline. This rigidity creates tension and resistance that impedes the natural flow of manifestation. True relaxation involves surrendering not the desire itself, but your concepts about how it must be fulfilled. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not instruct it on exactly how many leaves to produce or precisely how tall to grow. You trust in the intelligence within the seed to express itself perfectly. Similarly, when you plant the seed of your desire in consciousness, relax and trust in the infinite intelligence of the universe to bring it to fruition.